So, welcome to this hangout about the second São Paulo Recruiting Fair. The goal for this event, or for this hangout, I should say, is to prepare you for the event in 2 weeks from now. So that's it's coming up pretty fast. I know you guys probably are excited, probably very nervous. So we're going to try and prepare you over the next 2 weeks as much as possible to get you ready to go and be successful at the event in São Paulo, June 23rd, 24th. This is being recorded, as you probably see. And what I want to do today is go over how the event will work, and then also talk about the three companies, and then mostly just answer your questions to make sure everybody's prepared for the event, because I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. And yeah, we've got the answers. So for those of you who don't know, this event happened before. This is the second time the event's happening. The first time happened in March. We had about 350 people show up to the event, and 77 were hired, which I think is a world record of the number of hires for an international company or for candidates wanting to relocate to a new city. I don't know, but I guess it's hard to know this data. Anyway, it was a lot of people, a lot of hires, and it was really exciting. And so this time around, we're going to do it bigger and better. We have, instead of one company, we have three companies coming. So we have Skip the Dishes, Bold Commerce, and 7 Shifts coming. And yeah, 77 hires and about 350 people showed up. So it was around 25% higher rate. And so the three companies, again, are Bold Commerce, 7 Shifts, and Skip the Dishes. And something really cool that's happening is we're going to have representatives from the governments of Manitoba and the government of Saskatchewan coming to the event. So not only will there be companies, there'll actually be government officials who will be coming to the event and will be coming to meet you and talk about what it's like to live in Manitoba or Saskatchewan, Canada in general. So it's really cool. And the way it's going to work is we're going to have, I guess we can, we've shared this already, but just to reiterate the schedule, 7:30 to 9:30 is registration. Make sure you show up early. It's really important. The earlier you show up, the more time you can network and talk to the companies. And that first hour and a half is actually really important, because if you come then, you'll have more time to talk to the companies, make a good first impression, and they're always taking notes. Every conversation that they're having with you, they're taking notes. How's the person's English? How are their communication skills? What are they talking about? What are they asking? So just be aware of that. You're always being evaluated. Then there will be, from 9 to 10, there will be a company's presentation. So basically the three companies will do a little mini presentation about what it's like to work for them, why you should go there and work with them. And then afterwards, 10 to 6 p.m., there'll be a hackathon. I can talk more about the details of the hackathon a little bit later. And then from there, there'll be a 1 hour break. And then from 7 till 9 p.m., there'll be a government reception. So there'll be presentation about Manitoba, presentation about Saskatchewan, and a chance for you to ask your questions directly to members of the government. Most of the people are in the government officials are kind of in the Manitoba PNP program, and also people from the, I guess, workers, I don't know the exact name, labor ministry. So that their whole goal is to bring more qualified people to their provinces, and they want you. Okay, so that's how the schedule will work. And then now let's go to the three companies. And so we have three companies, and first company I'll talk about is Skip the Dishes. The most of you guys will have interviews with Skip the Dishes, and Skip the Dishes is it's an incredible company. They were bought for $200 million recently by a company called Just Eat. It's like iFood in Brazil. You can order food online. Really good, really fast, and growing like crazy. So you see Skip the Dishes everywhere. When I was just in Canada, and you see the Skip the Dishes stickers everywhere. And so their big problem right now is that they're scaling so fast. They're making so many orders right now that they're having a hard time keeping up with this. So they really need someone or many people to help them improve the product. Especially they're looking for React Native, mobile, iOS, Android, data engineers, DevOps professionals, Java developers, as well as some software developer managers. So they have a lot of roles, and they could easily hire 100 people just themselves, because they're really hiring a lot of people for their team. The next company, I'll go again, and then I just want to give a quick introduction, then we'll do the Q&A, and during the Q&A, we'll get more deep into companies. Next company is 7 Shifts. So 7 Shifts is from Saskatoon. They're going to interview about, I think, 50 people, or maybe a little bit less, 40 people. They're looking to make about 5 to 10 hires, so it's a little bit smaller, but you know, they are kind of an earlier stage company. But I was at their office and about a month and a half ago. Really, really nice people, great city, great quality of life place, Saskatoon. And they're kind of one of the most innovative companies in that region. So it's really like one of the top companies to work for there. And they're looking for people who are going to be more like team leaders. So people who can not necessarily, because their stack is PHP, so not necessarily PHP engineers, but engineers in general who are good developers that can lead their teams and kind of be managers in the future. And then Bold Commerce. Bold Commerce is looking for full stack React and PHP engineers. Bold Commerce is a website that helps people improve their Shopify apps. So they're very connected with Shopify, for those of you who've heard of Shopify. And they're looking for about 12 to 15 people for their team. I saw someone ask how many positions for data engineer or whatever at Skip. The way that Skip says is we'll hire as many good people as we find. So don't worry about how many positions there are and how many people are there. What are your chances? Like, this doesn't matter. They could hire 50 React Native developers during the event if they find 50 amazing React Native developers, for example. I don't know if that's true, but like, that's the way you have to think about it. It's as many good people as they can find. So yeah, and make sure, have you guys all seen the prep kits? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Oh, I just realized we're at 100 people and there might be some people trying to get in. Let me just check. Are people trying to get in but can't enter? Okay, upgrading room now. Okay, cool. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. I just got to do Zoom. In the meantime, maybe someone from the VanHack team can just talk for a little bit and answer people's questions. It'll take me 1 minute maximum, okay? I'll be right back, guys. Sorry. Too many great VanHackers want to get hired. It's a nice problem to have. Cool. Someone from VanHack, please help me out here.
Yeah, Ilya, maybe I can help you. So guys, while Ilya is preparing his Zoom, so maybe we can discuss a little bit about the actions that we are going to have, some training sections that we are going to have this week and next week. So today, Ilya is explaining about the 3 companies. Tomorrow, I'm going to manage the section. So I'm going to discuss about interview and how achieve a great result in a selection process in an interview. And during this week, we are going to have many technical classes. So for each position, okay, that we are selecting during the recruiting fair, you can participate in a specific class. So we hired technical professionals, okay, to teach you, to share with you some technical knowledge and also share some common technical questions that are usually asked during an interview, okay? In the end of this week, we are gonna have another webinar with Gringo Sentry. Ricardo is gonna lead this section, and Ricardo is gonna focus mainly on pronunciation. So Ricardo is a Brazilian guy that lived many years outside of Brazil, and he knows a little bit the challenge that we face when we need to pronounce some words, some vowels and consonants in English. And next week, we are gonna dedicate all the sections just to focus on the technical part, technical questions, technical interviews. Another advice that I would like to give you, book your mock interview as soon as possible. And now we allow people to book more than 1 mock interview, okay? So if you need help, send me a message, direct message to me or my team. And also, if you need any help about the selection process, if you have any question, we are totally available to help you. The last point that I have today, I received a message from Ricardo. So we are conducting more 2 classes in the next Saturday. I believe the class in the afternoon is full, but we have 11 seats available in the morning. So it's an intensive class that he's gonna teach you, practice a little bit more with you guys in English. And again, if you need any help, we are totally available to support you. So guys, any question, please let me know if you have any question about the training section or the mock interviews, okay?
Cool, thanks, Julia. Perfect timing. I just finished upgrading, so we have some more people joining us here. I just want to reiterate what Julia said about the mock interviews. That really is the most important part. If you haven't booked a mock interview, or three, book them and have as many as possible. Many VanHackers who got hired at the last event told me afterwards that the mock interview was the reason they got hired, because before the mock interview they were just not saying the things the right way, or even not even the right way, but just they weren't confident in their answers. And it's not about saying things, and memorizing answers a certain way. It's about just being confident in yourself and having that chance to practice, especially in English in a more pressure situation, before you actually have the interview with the company. So really important. And Julia, if you could please share the mock interview links again. It's pinned on the channel, on the Slack channel, and we'll just make sure we'll keep telling you book your mock interview, because it really is important. And I'll definitely add some more mock interviews with myself, probably Saturday and Sunday before the soccer game, because there's a small soccer game happening on Sunday at 3 o'clock, I know. So have to respect people. I don't know if you guys are going to watch it, but anyway, point is probably so Sunday morning and maybe after Sunday night and next week as well. The point is that mock interviews are very, very important, and all these training sessions are important. So good thing you guys are here. Okay, so let's get into maybe the three different companies a little bit more. So we talked about Skip the Dishes a little bit, and I guess before I continue, have you guys all seen the prep kits for those for the companies? If you haven't seen the prep kits, we'll share them with you. Maybe someone, Julia or someone else from the team, can you share them in Slack or here in the chat or both? The prep kits are really important. They're basically everything you need to know about the company, and just like all the videos, all the information, the jobs, the job descriptions, all this stuff that'll be there. And make sure you study that, watch the videos, learn about the company culture. Really important is this culture piece. So for Skip, the culture there is much more like get things done, aggressive, fast paced, like really no BS kind of thing. They're very kind of like they've grown really fast, and they're going like crazy, and they work long hours. They're like a lot of times the developers there have to be on call and stuff like that. And so that's part of it, and you have to just accept that as part of the culture and know that it's the benefit. The CTO told me, and the first time I talked to him, or now the ex-CTO because he left, but the point is that he told me that the benefit of working at Skip the Dishes is unlimited work. So you have unlimited things to do and to learn and to improve and grow as a professional. They're not a place where you can kind of go and say, I'm going to take it easy and relax and just have like a easy job kind of thing. It's much more aggressive, fast paced, and important. And it's kind of they measure you and they reward you accordingly. Like they have good salaries, and it's one of the best companies in Canada to work for. But they expect a lot. So be ready for this. And in the interview, make sure that you talk about situations where you've had experienced cultures like that before, or why you fit to that culture. So that's Skip. Bold Commerce, on the other hand, is a little bit different. I think it's actually like a lot different. They're a little bit more laid back. They're a little bit more like friendly, kind of, like let's all work together. This is all good. We're here to collaborate. The HR lady told me today that. The HR manager, should say, told me today that she or their culture is very collaborative. So if you are interviewing at Bold Commerce, make sure you act in a collaborative way, and you talk about ways when you were collaborative, when you had a good job, worked in a team, when you were helped someone else with a problem. It's much more like I'm here to help you. I'm here. It's not just about me. It's about the team. That kind of thing. So that's really important for Bold Commerce. And I would say 7 shifts is probably similar to Bold Commerce as well. They're a smaller team. They're a lot more kind of earlier. So you really need someone to be able to work well in the group and lead the junior developers there. So other things you should do, you should look, study the job description, go to the careers page of all the companies, go to the YouTube channel of all the companies. We have, for example, a webinar with 7 Shifts, so you should watch that webinar if you're interviewing with them. And just like really learn and study about the culture and the company as much as possible, and have questions for them. Okay. A lot of times, or not a lot of times, every interview you'll do, at the end of the interview, they're going to ask you, what questions do you have for us? And if you don't have any good questions, it's going to be a really big problem. If you can't, ask something about the company, there's a lot of different things you can ask about. You can ask about what are their biggest technical challenges right now. You can ask about what the interview's favorite part is of working there. And we have actually a free interview course that you guys should watch as well, called How to Rock Your Job Interview, which we kind of give some examples of this. But make sure you study the companies a lot and get as much information as possible about them, so then you can maybe have 2 or 3 questions ready to go before you actually arrive at the interview. So speaking of interviews, the way we're going to do it is it's different for all 3 companies. For Skip, it's going to be a 15-minute interview, about 15-minute interview. You're going to have either 1 or 2 technical interviews there. It'll be just purely technical interviews. And based on that, and also reviewing your code afterwards, they're going to give you the results of if you get an offer or not. With 7 Shifts, it'll be a longer interview, like half an hour, and it'll be more in depth because they're looking for more like manager positions, team leaders. So that's really important for you to kind of think about and know and prepare yourself. And I think it's the same for Bold. Bold will have a technical challenge as well. And it'll be more of like a longer interview where you have more of a deeper conversation with the team. So they're, I think, only interviewing 18 or 19 people. So it'll be a little bit more kind of, how could I say, in-depth conversations with you and the team. Okay, cool. Anything else I'm missing? I guess that's really the kind of the main stuff. The biggest thing, I guess the last thing I'll say before I open up the questions here is this is really a unique opportunity. With these events, there's a buzz in the air, or at least there was a buzz last time, where like you can feel that the company came and wanted to hire. Like, think about it. The companies are flying to another country, another continent, another part of the world, across the world, 10-hour flight overnight, or even longer, because they have to go from Saskatoon, Winnipeg, and it's a long time for them to travel. So they're really invested in this. They really want to hire people. They hired 77 people last time, and you should really take this seriously. I know you guys are all here on a Monday night with me, and you're probably participating in all the different things, so you are taking it seriously. But last time what happened, which was disappointing for us, is a lot of people didn't show up. So we had about 500 people selected, and only 350 people more or less showed up. And what I'll say is, if you are selected, which you guys are all, do everything you can to be there, because this is so much better than an online interview. It's so much better to have that in-person conversation with the company, to be able to see them, talk to them, have that time, have that opportunity. And I can't stress this enough. If your goal is to get hired, these events are the best way to do that. So yeah, that's kind of the most important thing, is to just be there and be ready. Cool. Okay, we have half an hour left, or I stay as long as you guys have questions. So I see some questions here in the chat. I'll just start answering them. So yeah, data engineers will have a coding test as well in Hiki. Caillou, how long until you receive feedback from the fair? That's a good question. Last time, and I can only speak for Skip, because they were the company that was there last, was about 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer, to give feedback, because they had to go through 94 people that had shortlisted, and then they made, I think, 80 offers and 77 accepted, so something like that. And so they had to go through 94 GitHub accounts and code bases, repos, and review them all. And then they also had to have another 10-minute conversation with every person. So it took about 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not sure how long it'll take for Bold or 7 Shifts. I'm guessing the same. Definitely less than a month. Like they probably will be faster because they have less people to go through, right? Because they're interviewing less people. So yeah, relocation. When you'll start work. So probably your start work, I'm guessing, like if you're, let's say you guys, I would expect to be moving to Canada sometime in September or October, if you're accepted from the event, probably because it'll take some time for you to apply for the visa and, you know, buy flights and everything. So I'm thinking sometime in the fall or the Canadian autumn, you know, like Brazilian spring. So the opposite. Yeah, I would say like 3 months, more or less, something like this. So it'll be end of June, so it'll be July, August, September. So probably like end of September to beginning of October is when you'll be moving. The people who got hired at the March event are moving like in July. So a lot of them have bought their flights now and they're moving in early July. So I guess April, May, June, and July. So yeah, 3.5 months, same kind of thing. So that's what I would say. Okay. Yeah, 77 people were hired at the last event, Timoteo. Did you guys all see the video from the last event? If someone from our team, can you please just share the video? Just if you guys haven't seen it, you should definitely watch the video from the last event. It's pretty awesome. Okay. So how's the hackathon going to work? Good question, Marcelo. So the hackathon was pretty straightforward. They'll share the coding challenge with you. There'll be a pretty broad coding challenge, something that'll let you, use the technologies that they were looking for. It'll also be creative, and there's no like right answer for it. They just want to see how you approach the problem, right? It's not about getting, solving this quiz and getting the right answer, and the answer is 15, and if you don't get 15 then you're out. It's about being more showing how you can code, like how your documentation looks like. Documentation is really important, so having good documentation, having just like good, clean, solid code, that's what they'll be looking for. And most of the people who were shortlisted from like the 350, I remember I said there was 94 that they shortlisted to review their code. I think like 2 or 3 of them were rejected just because of the code. I think it was a very small amount of people who got rejected because of the code. I think they did a good job seeing like during the interview who was a good developer and then seeing that their code was good. But it's really important, this hackathon part. One thing that happened last time is a couple of people left early, which I don't think will happen this time because last time it went until 9 p.m. So it was like a long time to code, like 11 hours from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. This time it'll finish at 6, so it'll be a little bit less stressful. Or not stressful, just like long. And it's really about how you approach the problem, right? So just make sure that you do your best, be focused, work hard on that, and show them what you can do. So examples of things that you shouldn't ask. Good question, Herbert. So things you shouldn't ask the interview at the end. Don't ask about salary. Don't ask about vacation. I think those are the main things. Like, don't ask about things like, don't ask how they think the interview was. Like think about if you were interviewing someone and like someone's going to work for your company and the first thing they ask you is like, how many weeks vacation do I get? It's not the best thing to ask during a job interview. It doesn't really show that you want to get the job. It's more about you want to just have a job with a lot of vacation, right? At least that's how it looks. So those are probably the main ones to take away from, but really like there's no, it's more like, there's not really many things you can say to screw that up. Dress code. Yeah, there's no dress code. Some people had like t-shirt and like a GitHub shirt or like a blockchain shirt and shorts. It's fine. I'm guessing São Paulo won't be so hot, so you can't really wear shorts. But yeah, be yourself. Don't need to be too formal. There might be pair program. Gazelle, Bolt Commerce said that they will be doing pair programming, or they might want to do pair programming. So if you are interviewing at Bolt Commerce, get ready for some pair programming. Hackathon for the DevOps. It's more like at least last time they asked to like design a model, like a server model. Sorry again for the dog, guys. My parents-in-law's dog. Let's just stop. Yeah, one sec. The dog is crazy. Can't do much about that. Okay, Saturday, Sunday is the same thing. Don't come more than one day. No, just come for the one day, just because there won't be much room. You mentioned the skip will have 15-20 interviews. Will be split smaller interviews. No, we'll have like 2 15-minute interviews. So two interviews that are 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so twice. Bear Chris is asking about materials to study. So yeah, we do have materials to study. They're called the interview prep kits, and you should have gotten links for those already. If you haven't, I think we'll share those links to you soon. How many minutes to prepare the presentation for them? You don't have to prepare a presentation for them. You don't need to do that. You just need to submit your code on the VanHack's website and as a GitHub repository with good documentation. Yes, Guilherme, good question. Okay, so unlike last time, you will have a schedule at least for the interviews for Skip the Dishes. You'll have a sorry guys. You'll have a time when your interview will be scheduled. So we are working on this right now. And we will send you an email saying you have an interview on June 23rd or June 24th at 3 p.m. And so you will know exactly when your interview will be, and you have to make sure that you're there. Last time, again, many people didn't show up, and the Skip team wasn't so happy because they waited. They had like a lot of time that they weren't interviewing people, and this isn't good. So make sure that you actually are there and show up for the time that your interview is. And sometimes what happened was people didn't realize that they had a job interview, and it was just awkward because they came late to a job interview when they were in the same room as the company. So make sure you make sure that you know what time you'll be at, and keep an eye on your email. We'll be sending you an email about it. Beyond HR and government, technical. Yeah, of course. So there'll be a lot of technical people there. Most of the people who are coming down are developers. So for the Skip team, there's going to be 7 developers, I think. There'll be 7 developers from Skip. There'll be 2 from 7 Shifts, and there'll be 2 from Bold. So yes, there'll be mostly technical people. So you can have conversations with them about the tech side of things. Marcelo, software developer manager review. I don't know. I think that for the Skip software developer manager, it'll be more like they're looking for people who are team leaders. Not team leaders. That's the wrong way to say it. People who can talk about like, okay, how many people we should have on this team, doing job interviews, recruiting people, letting people go, like firing people if they need to, that kind of stuff. Can't move until January 29, Gabriel. Yeah, it should be okay. But yeah, don't worry about that. Salary expectations. I don't think they're going to ask about salary expectations, but if they do, I would say between $80,000 and $100,000 a year. That's a good one if you're like a senior, and maybe between 60 and 80 if you're more intermediate to junior. So that's probably the range. And one thing I'll say about that is those are really good salaries in Saskatoon and Winnipeg. The best places, in my opinion, to move, if I was immigrating to Canada, I would move to Saskatchewan or to Manitoba, to Saskatoon, which is in Saskatchewan, and Winnipeg, which is in Manitoba. Why? Because the cost of living there is way lower than in the major cities of Canada, like Toronto, Vancouver. In Vancouver, a 1-bedroom apartment costs, let's say, 600,000 Canadian dollars. In Winnipeg, a 3-bedroom house costs 400,000 Canadian dollars. So, that's pretty different, right? And if you're like have kids and stuff like that, it's really, really advantageous, in my opinion, to move to Winnipeg or Saskatoon. Even if that's not your first choice, a place to live there for 3 to 5 years. And if you want to move then afterwards. But most of the time people say stay there, and it's a really great place to be. I think it's a really, really good spot as kind of a first job. You'll be probably saving half your salary every month. So yeah. Hackathon is alone, and there'll be different. I think, different challenges for different positions. But yeah, you do it on your own. There's no teams. Cool. Good question, Guilherme. How will work the talk with the PNP managers? PHP. PNP. So that I don't know, actually. I think it'll be more just like a Q&A. They'll do a presentation and you'll be doing like a, you can ask some questions. I think they'll be more like that. And yeah, they didn't really tell me much other than that. Yeah, I can check in again and get more information, but I think they're going there more just to promote the locations than anything else, and kind of answer any questions you might have about the visa. So if you are selected, you know exactly what you need to do to get your PNP done. Which the good thing about Provincial Nominee Program, PNP, for those of you who do not know, is you get your PR right away. So instead of moving just with a work permit and then applying for your PR afterwards through express entry, you move directly with the work permit. Sorry, with the PR, permanent residence. Yeah, let's go on mute, guys. Yeah, you move directly with a permanent residence, and then you can be a Canadian citizen in 3 years, which is pretty cool. Any difference between online applications and the ones from the fair? Yeah, well, I mean, I guess like the biggest difference is that job interview is in person, Caio. But I don't know what else that would be different. Yes, we'll have tech webinars. Julia mentioned that. And have you guys all seen the VanHack Academy schedule that was emailed to you in the first email? Like there is a schedule for I think every night from now until the end of or till next Saturday, of things that we'll be talking about and preparing you for. So yeah, if you're not prepared, it's your fault, because we are doing a lot to prepare you guys. Yeah, get ready. Stephanie, immigration information. Yeah, don't worry about that. Like there'll be someone, thank you, Julia, or whoever shared that link. So the VanHack Academy schedule is there. So there'll be someone from the Provincial Nominee Program coming from Manitoba, PNP. So, but don't worry about that. It's not like it's more just they're there to answer questions for you. It won't be a brain teaser algorithm question. It'll be more like they're probably gonna ask you more like, do you know what E6S, right? Like for JavaScript, thanks, Marcelo. Like things like this, or continuous development, continuous integration. Like, do you know what that is for DevOps? Like, talk about that. And they'll probably ask like questions like that, more about that kind of things, like specific elements of JavaScript or specific elements of Java or whatever that they want to see whether you can go like from high level to like more deep into the kind of nitty gritty, small details about each subject. So it's not just about like that's one thing I think is really important, is you need to be able to answer those questions well and kind of understand or show them that you understand what you're talking about, right? So cool. I see Danilo Roger nodding his head. Yeah. Cool. All right. What can spouses do before the evening reception? Well, I don't know. Hang out in São Paulo, I guess. There won't really be much space and so we're going to do the event in São Paulo Center, and I guess they can like kind of hang out. It'll be maybe boring for them if you're just sitting there in front of your computer coding. But yeah, I think shopping El Dorado or something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. Once take care of your credit cards. Yeah. Say if I get a job in Canada, then you can buy a purse, something like this. Do you know if there's a career? Sorry, that was gender specific. I don't want to be gender specific. Do you know if there's a career path in these companies? Yeah, for sure. Great question, Vinicius. So all these companies are looking for people to be leaders in their teams eventually. I think 7Shifts is the only one that's hiring people to be team leaders right away or like very soon. Although, yeah, Skip is hiring software development managers, but all of them have career paths for sure. So their goal is not for you just to go there for 1 year. They want you to stay for as long as possible and grow your career in your career there. So all companies have very strong and good career paths for you to, of course, make more money, but also take more responsibility and grow as a professional. So yeah, their goal is for you to stay there long term. Work with relatives. I don't think so. Gerson, is one of your relatives working at Skip? I don't think that's a problem. You guys don't have to always put a question before the question. I don't know why that's always there. After doing research about these cities, I figured Saskatoon and Winnipeg are quite away from the same security level of Toronto, for example. Good question, that's security. Yeah, so these, at least Winnipeg is a little bit like less secure than other cities in Canada because there's quite a large First Nations population. So like Native Americans, in Portuguese, it's I think Índios, right? So people like from the native land, and they didn't have such a good time integrating, back in the past, and so there's a lot of like sometimes poverty and stuff like that. I never felt like I've been to Winnipeg like 3 or 4 times in my life. I never felt in danger or ever had any issues. But I think it's like any city, you just don't go to the wrong place, don't at night. But really, it's like if you look at for example, homicides per year in Winnipeg versus I don't know any other major cities, like it's nothing, right? And it's definitely like, for example, one of the guys who lives in Winnipeg right now, working at Skip, Leonardo. His daughter like walks to school every day and back home. Like it's totally normal to have this. So don't worry about that. Like I think I think relative to Canada, it's not the safest city, but relative to the world, it's incredibly safe. So that's the way I would say it. Moto G5S, I'm guessing that's someone's phone. No challenge to PHP vacancies. Yes, there are challenges for the bold commerce vacancies for PHP. The coding is going to be only for the companies we've selected, right? Yes, Stephanie. So if you have an interview, for example, at 2 companies, then you'll be doing the coding challenge for both those companies. And one thing that we're kind of, since this is the first event, we had more than one company, we're learning as we go. And one thing we've realized is that some people are going to have 2 interviews, which obviously we should have thought about before. And the problem with that is that maybe you'll need to do 1 interview on Saturday and 1 interview on Sunday. So we're going to sending an email soon to confirm like what day. If you've already bought flights, don't worry. Like if you bought flights and you can only be there on Sunday, we'll figure out a way for you to do both interviews on Sunday or on Saturday, whatever. But if you have 2 interviews at 2 different companies, then come for both days, and then you can do 1 interview on one day and the other interview on another day. So let's say Bold Commerce on Saturday and Skip Digital on Sunday or something like this. So don't worry. So Lucas Lima, if I'm not selected after the first, so if you're not selected in the first interview, that doesn't mean that you're not going to go forward. Sometimes what happened in the last event is people were selected, like they did only 1 or 2 interviews, and then they still got like accepted because they had like enough information to know that you were good. So if you do 1 interview and you don't get another interview, that does not mean that you're out. It just means that it could mean that you're out, of course, or it could mean that like you did a really good job and they're happy with you. So yeah. Do you need to apply to the vacancies before? Yes, you do, and we'll be sharing information about that soon. So yeah. The links are on the VanHack website. If you can just scroll on the VanHack website, it says São Paulo event. So like if, for example, you're going to the data engineer job, you can see data engineer São Paulo event in the job board, and then you can apply there. But we'll be sharing that and making sure that you apply like on the day as well. So don't worry if you haven't done so. You're going to get a lot more information from us in the next 2 weeks. So get ready. Don't have a diploma? That doesn't matter. Don't worry about that, Lucas. Cool. Bear Chris, okay, send me a DM or send someone from the VanHack team a DM. I can see you a question. In some positions, there are no level experience. So they're looking mostly for senior people, but senior developers, I should say, not not senior people, like old people. Yeah, sound bad. Okay. Anyway, senior developers, people who have like over, let's say, 7 years experience. That's really the kind of main target of people that they're looking for. But at the last event, for example, Skip hired a lot of people who had like 3 years of experience. So they're okay to hire a range of people. It's just more Like the real need is for the more senior kind of team leaders. So don't worry if you're like, if you have 3 years experience or something like that, it's not bad. It's just like you still have a very good chance of getting hired. If you guys see the video, the Sao Paulo video from the first event, the guy speaking in the beginning, he's like junior developer, 3 years experience. He got hired. Fernando, that's funny. DevOps hackathon specific interview. So for the DevOps, at least last time, I don't know how it'll be this time. I haven't seen the hackathon challenge this time around, but it'll be something a little bit more like it'll be like design a server architecture that is able to scale for X amount of users or something like this. I don't want to give away too much, or I don't really even know what it is this time around, but it'll be more like you have to think about something theoretical and like design it on paper, and then be able to talk about that technically during your job interview, and submit that as well. Your spouses will get work visas, and your kids will get student visas, so they can study in a public school, which are very good and free in Canada, and your spouse can work. So I'm not going to talk about how every challenge is going to be, just because I don't think that'll be fair. It's just going to be like, just don't worry about it. It won't be something so complicated. Like it won't be something like, oh my God, this is so hard to figure out. It'll be something very simple that will then make you have to work and think about how you can build something and be creative. Okay. It's not going to be like, just don't worry about the challenge. Like, of course, prepare technically, and that's important, but like, don't worry about the specific challenge or what it's going to be. It's going to be very simple. It's going to be like, I don't know, for example, draw a spaceship. You can draw a spaceship in many different ways, and if you're bad at drawing, you're draw a really ugly spaceship. If you're really, really good at drawing, you draw an amazingly beautiful spaceship. It's just an analogy, but it's the same kind of thing. Very, very simple, but very difficult to do it well. Paint a picture. I can do stick figures, but I can't paint the Mona Lisa, right? So that's the same kind of thing. No age preference, don't worry. How many people applied for the front-end dev job? I think about 90 people applied for that one. If you are not legally married, congratulations. You're gonna want to get married legally if you want your girlfriend or boyfriend to come with you, or at least be common law partners, so living together for 1 year. So we've had many VanHackers actually who've gotten married because they got hired. A couple even sent us their pictures of at their wedding ceremony. So that's nice. Thankfully, I think they're all together still. So it was just to speed things up a little bit, and instead of actually just doing it to do it. VanHack marriages. Caio, good question. Do we have other events planned for the rest of the year? Yes, we do. So we had such a good time in the first event, and we're hoping that we're going to have another really good event in 2 weeks. I'm just as anxious as you guys are, but I'm sure it'll be great. That we've realized that there's something special about this in-person interview format, where you're going to be, face-to-face with someone, interviewing them, having a conversation in real life, building trust, understanding, so many things you can't really understand online. A lot of times, for example, anyway, I won't go into all the details, but the point is, yes, we will have another event probably in October, and it'll be with companies from across Canada, maybe companies from Europe as well. And the goal is to do it even bigger and then have maybe like 3 or 4 of these events every year. Julia, I can see Julia's face being nervous. More work. No, we'll create a process and automate everything, and it'll be much easier as we go, right, Julia? Don't worry. We're still doing a lot of manual work here on our side, but it's okay. So the point is, we will do another event, and it'll be much better every time. At least that's the goal. And yeah, we're excited about it. So let's see how this one goes. And I'm 90% certain that we're gonna have, unless this one 5 people get hired, which I don't see happening. Let's get to 100. Then I think we'll have another event and do even bigger. So no, you don't need IELTS. IELTS is only needed for PNP. So if you do the PNP route, then you will need to take your IELTS. This one is already awesome. Aw, thanks, Gabrielle. It's nice to hear. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Everton, good question about people who live in North Brazil. I know there's a lot of, especially in Recife, I've heard there's a lot of really good developers there. I know there are, but it's just hard for the companies to go there. You know, it's like hard enough for a company to travel all the way down to Sao Paulo and convince them to go to the north of Brazil is like, oh man, like they've never heard of Recife before. Like they have no idea. Most of them haven't even heard of Sao Paulo before. Like, you know, it just, yeah, unfortunately, we won't do that. So they're going to use a combination of visas. Yeah, Mayar is from Recife, so yeah. We will have access to the internet. Yes. Ooh, very important before we finish. Okay. On Thursday, in 3 days, Thursday, June 14th, I will be in Sao Paulo. If you are in Sao Paulo, come to the Sao Paulo Center, which is where the event will be at 6 p.m. We will be doing a live test of the Wi-Fi and a meetup for VanHack, for the VanHack meetup, preparing you for the event where we can meet in person, have a conversation. So bring your laptop, bring your phone. If you have 2 phones, bring that. We're going to connect them all to the internet. We're going to all watch videos and we're going to test their internet. Last time at the last event, we didn't have good internet. The Wi-Fi at the last place didn't work. It was broken. And so we really need to buy AC Vieira. See you soon. We're going to need to test it. So I know like a bunch of you have already confirmed they'll be there. So please be there at 6 o'clock. And we'll test the Wi-Fi together. Bring your phone, your computer, and as many internet devices as possible, and we'll test. It should work. Yeah, Netflix, exactly. I was thinking VanHack YouTube channel, Stephanie, but I don't know, maybe Netflix as well. Yeah. Cool. We can watch some mock interviews together. It'll be fun. Don't worry about the MPMP for IELTS. Yeah. Cool, Gabriel. See you in a few days. Yeah, I just realized that we have interview practice for VanHack Premium members in 4 minutes, so we're going to have to get off this account and finish up in 4 minutes here. But I think I've answered most people's questions. How's everyone feeling? Excited? Nervous? More excited than before we started? Yeah? Cool. Awesome, guys. Yeah, well, I got to say, like, these events are for us super special. Like the first one was really, really good. And the second one, hopefully much better. And really it's super cool hanging out with everyone, seeing everyone in real life. We have some VanHack stickers that we brought to give to people. Yeah, just, it's going to be a good time. So make sure to be there. And yeah, I guess last thing I'll say is like, we still do have room for a few of the positions, mainly mobile, data engineer, DevOps, and React developers. So if you work with, if you have friends who work with any of those 4 skills that can be in Sao Paulo in 2 weeks for the event, please tell them about this and please share their emails with either myself or the VanHack team, so that we can, we can get in touch with you or with them. How many mobile applicants? I think like 50 something, but again, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of jobs. It's just many qualified professionals as they find. Cool. I agree, Jackson. Our team is doing a great job. Our team is awesome. Cool, guys. All right, let's wrap it up here then. Thanks so much for attending, hanging out with us today. We'll see you in Sao Paulo. For those of you coming to the meetup, we'll see you there. And for those of you who are going to be at the event, which definitely will be everyone on this webinar, I'll see you guys soon. All right. Talk soon. And any messages, any other questions, just message us in Slack. We're all here to chat with you and help you out. Okay. Bye, guys. Have a good night.